Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Star Seraph Negates. It's more Star Seraph rank 4 turbo-ish type things. But in case you don't know what Star Seraph is, it's a very small archetype that's based around just spamming the field with level 4s. So right here we've opened a pretty decent hand for Negates. We have 2 level 4 extenders and an extra 3 extender. And on top of that we have Time Thief Winder in our hand, which just solidifies the full combo by itself. So we're up against a Mech Knight Invoked, it seems. We're going to start with a normal summon Scout, special summon a Scout. What the Scout does, if it's normal summon, you can just special summon another thing. You can special summon Petting Cessor, you can special summon Singing Leaves from your hand. You will detach material to summon Winder, who will search Time Thief Hack, will activate the hack, and summon Y-Strix. Y-Strix will summon Zephyros the Elite, overlay into 4 Strix, and then we will search a Bora. A Y-Strix will trigger, but we already have Social Force in our hand, so it doesn't matter that much. We're going to bounce back the hack, summon Bora, go into Union Carrier. Kinda just surrenders. He kinda just surrenders. Let's see what he was going to top deck. An Infinite Impermanence. Yeah, cool. He was totally going to do stuff with Infinite Impermanence. Unfortunately, I couldn't really show the full Infinite Gates. We could have just activated Soul Shape Force. We would have recovered the 4 Strix in our graveyard, summoning Cyber Dragon Infinity. We we'll use Union Carrier to equip a copy of Thunderbird to our Simorgh, and then we'll use the effect of Simorgh to summon out the Apex Avion. And once you have that board set up, you pretty much win. Our opponent wasn't waiting to see what we had to do, so he kind of just scoops. I might be able to show off the combo a bit clearer in the next replay, but in the next replay I'm going to be going second, so let's see what we do then. Right here we are up against Blackwings, it seems. They've opened Twin Twisters, and I believe they're also like running Soul Shape Force and stuff. Yep, they're running Cyber Dragon Infinity package. Some cool stuff. They're going to be summoning a lot of Blackwings. They're going to get another normal summon. I think this is the 3rd time they're searching off Black Whirlwind. And they're going to be special summoning Orochi, going into Obsidian Hawk, searching, getting the Full Armor Master. Just a pretty nice board. During our turn, he'll put a wedge counter on every single one of our monsters that activate their effect. And during his turn, he can just take control of one of them. And on top of that, he's unaffected by other card effects, so you can't really negate it. As you see, we have opened 3 copies of Time Thief Winder, and we're going to use Scepter, Search Sovereignty. The Star Seraphs do a lot more than I'm showing you right here. They're just like really powerful. We're just going to be searching for some more stuff. We go into Y-Strix, summon Zephyros, and then we'll get the activation for Hack, go into 4 Strix. Detach the Zephyros specifically to go into a Bora. We'll set the copy of Soul Shape Force, bounce back the Time Thief Hack, summon Zephyros, special summon Bora, and instead of going into Union Carrier Simorgh, we're going to go into Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax, and then we're going to be activating Soul Shape Force, getting us Cyber Dragon Infinity. Not sure why I took the Notung. I should have just taken the Obsidian Hawkjaw, but it doesn't matter too much as of now. We're going to activate Hack, which will make our Cyber Dragon gain attack. I decided to negate that because why not? I already have 2 material. We're going to attack, and Crusader Avermax will gain attack. And that's one of the few ways to get over a Full Armor Master. Just a Crusader Avermax, or I'm not sure if Borrelsword works. I don't think it does. But we're going to negate that Pot of Avarice. I would rather not have him draw 2. And he's going to take control of my Cyber Dragon Infinity by reviving his full armor with Hawkjaw. He attacks with his Blackwing Full Armor Master, and I activate Avermax's effect, which lets him gain attack. And the reason why he cannot gain negated with Cyber Dragon Infinity, I believe it happens during the damage it happens during damage calculation. So I don't think things like can negate stuff during damage calculation. And just like our last opponent, he kind of just scoops. I should have set the Shade Brigandine last turn, but it doesn't matter that much now, does it? We can just detach one for Winder, normal summon more stuff, and we easily would have been able to set up infinite negates from there. He couldn't really do anything. I could have just attacked for 3k. Pretty nice game. Just shows that this deck can go second too. And we'll go on to our last replay now. For our last replay, we are up against Stun. Yeah, but it seems we are up against Stun. I'm not sure why they are playing Galanduo or Abominable Unchained Dude. But I mean, I won't question this man. We're going to be going first. We normal summon Scout, use its effect, special summon Sage, go into 4 Strix, and we're just going to do stuff. So we're going to go into White Strix, summon out Zephyros. With that hand, it was quite bricky. We did draw the Singing Lanius, I believe. I think we drew the Singing Lanius and the Boar of the Spear. In case you're wondering why I didn't search with 4 Strix earlier, because I don't think I did, is because then I wouldn't have any more targets for this search, which will trigger White Strix to set Soul Shape Force. Unfortunately, we won't end on infinite negates, but we will end on 2 negates, which isn't half bad. It is what your Halki 5 racks combo ends on, and we have Called by Grave 2 just in case. So they're just gonna activate Pot of Desires. I do not like the act of him getting more drawing 2, and during our end phase we'll just summon out the Boar of the Spear. We're gonna activate Zephyros, summon, and then we'll special summon the Bora, and then we're gonna attack, but he uses Super Poly to go into a Starving Venom. At this point I probably should have negated the effect of Starving Venom in order by using Call by Grave or something, but now we're just going to use Cyber Infinities to out the Starving Venom, and at this point all he's going to do is normal summon Barrier Statue Pass. Not very great of him. We're just going to gain some more attack, and pretty much I probably should have just absorbed the material before doing it, but he's just going to go into Vanity's Ruler, and in case he thinks that Vanity's Ruler is going to defeat me, no it won't. And I'm not sure why he didn't just use March of the Monarchs, because, well, he probably, my Cyber Dragon Infinity wouldn't have eaten the Vanity's Ruler, because I believe Cyber Dragon Infinity targets, yes it does. To be fair, I could have just negated his March of the Monarch, so it wouldn't really matter that much. But our Time Thief hack will make it gain attack, and we have well over lethal to defeat him. So I didn't really show off the infinite negates themselves in those replays. I'll just show you what the Star Seraphs and the infinite negates are really made of. Now I will be showing you what the Star Seraphs are made of. Right here we have Star Seraph Sovereignty, Scout, and Scepter. Just these 2 cards by themselves would be absolutely phenomenal. Say we don't have these 2 in our hand, we can just normal summon Scepter, and what Scepter does when it's normal summoned, or if it's normal or special summoned, you can search another Star Seraph, which is not once per turn by the way, so if you can summon it multiple times, you can search multiple Star Seraphs. And then we can activate Star Seraph Sovereignty. If we normal special summon a Star Seraph, we can special summon it and then draw a card, which is pretty insane. And since we drew another Sovereignty, I like to just keep the Sovereignties in my hand. We're just going to search another copy of Sovereignty, and we're going to activate the effect of one of them, which will help us just special summon one, and then we get to draw a card. Now, since we special summoned another Star Seraph, we can activate this one, which will let us special summon one, and then we get to draw another card. And since we drew a Star Seraph, we are allowed to special summon it. We've already gone +4 just off Star Seraphs in general. Not just because I drew another Star Seraph Sovereignty, we were just going to search one off Scepter anyways. On top of that, I had the Star Seraph Scout, so I could have triggered my Sovereignty earlier. Just the point is that they generate tons of advantage in terms of level 4s, which is exactly what we need for infinite negates. So if we're going to start doing infinite negate shenanigans right here, we're going to go ahead, detach 1, and we'll get to search for a Singing Lanius. We can special summon the Singing Lanius, and then do more stuff. More stuff kind of includes going into a Y-Strix. Unfortunately, all of these chairs can't be used for an Xyz summon except for an Xyz summon that requires 3 or more monsters of material. so you can't really exceed someone using them, which is which is not that big of an issue, because you can just use them to link someone later anyways, so it doesn't really hurt you too much. Right here we can go for another 4 Strix, and then we're going to detach the Zephyros specifically and get to search for another Bora. We'll use Y Strix's effect, which will set a copy of Soul Shape Force to the field, and then you're just going to go into the Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty by using those two. We're going to use the effect of a Zephyros in the graveyard, bounce back a Sovereignty, set 1, special summon a Bora, and just like that, just off Star Seraphs alone, excluding some of the extenders I had in my hand, they are absolutely insane, just being able to generate so much advantage from so little. We're going to go into an IP, we're going to go into a Union Carrier, and I'll just showcase the Infinite Negates right here, right now. We're going to just equip Thunderbird using our Union Carrier. We're going to activate Soul Shape Force, which will summon a Cyber Dragon Infinity from our graveyard. And pretty much during our end phase, our Simorgh will trigger, summoning out the Apex Avian. And now what we have right here, we have Infinite Negates just with the Apex Avian and the Thunderbird on field. So as soon as your opponent activates an effect, Apex Avian, you can activate Apex Avian, which basically, if a card or effect is activated, you can bounce back a Mist Valley card and in order to negate it. And you're going to be bouncing back Mist Valley Thunderbird, and when that is bounced, you can just special summon from your hand, and neither of these are once per turn. So as soon as your opponent activates effect, you activate Apex Avian, bounce this back, and then this will summon itself. Your opponent activates another effect, bounce it back with Apex Avian, and then you can summon it again. Is infinite, as I said. Unfortunately, the limitation is that it's once per chain, which is where Cyber Dragon Infinity comes in. If your opponent tries to chain a card, you can just negate it, which is another thing that Cyber Dragon Infinity is really used for. And if you're saying, oh, if you bounce back and summon itself, why don't you just attack over the Thunderbird? This is where the IP and the Union Carrier comes in. During the end of your opponent's main phase, or you can just chain it to an Apex Avian activation. You use IP Masquerena, go into a Crusadia Avermax using it and this Union Carrier, and then Avermax is basically an attack magnet, so they can't beat you over by battle, they can't try to beat you with card effects, they basically lose. This deck can put up very, very resilient boards. It can play around a hand drop or two, not too many unfortunately. On top of that, the Star Seraphs just generate so much advantage, it's insane. So those were the combos and replays. Let's go on to the deck profile now. So right here we have the deck. One copy of Apex Avian, one copy of Thunderbird. I don't want to explain them later. As soon as you get these two cards on the field, you pretty much win. You have Infinite Negates and your opponent can't do anything about it unless they attack over the Thunderbird, which is where Avermax comes in. 3 copies of Time Thief Winder. Winder is just super great as it acts as an extra extender, and it does reduce the requirements you need for Infinite Negates drastically, as it searches Time Thief Hack, which acts as a bounce for Zephyros, and Time Thief Winder is an extender itself. So as soon as you get 2 level 4s and you have Winder in hand, you know you have full combo. 3 copies of Scepter. This is the one that searches, and it searches Sovereignty, which is very important, which is super nice. 2 copies of Bore the Spear. This is for your Blackwing portion. The only reason why we run 2 is because it does act as an extra extender if we hard draw it, which is super nice. 1 copy of Star Seraph Sage. This dumps a spell card in order to special summon Star Seraph. I don't really want to run this at 3. I would cut this down if I wanted to for another extender or 2, but you do kind of have. This is probably the second worst Star Seraph. Maybe the third worst, because scale might be even worse. But you do have to run the Star Seraphs for cards like Sovereignty or Star Seraph Scout, which is why you do have to run 3 of it. One copy of Zephyros. In some instances, if you're able to get the extenders without using your normal summon, to ways like Valhalla, Metal Shade Penningsessor, or your Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine, you can actually do full combo even if you draw Zephyros, although you can't do it too often. 2 copies of Scale. The only reason why this is at 2 is because it does require other cards to keep it going. Its effect only triggers when it's special summoned specifically, which includes being special summoned by Valhalla, Scout, Sage, all of those means, and it relies on other cards to use it. That's why I only run at 2, and all it does is special summon 8 Star Seraph from your hand. I would rather, I mean, 2 is probably perfect for it, and we do have to run 2 because you just need to run a lot of Star Seraphs in this deck to trigger other effects like Sovereignty, Scout, Sage. I just mentioned it before. 3 copies of Penningsessor, one of the best level 4 extenders, as it is a free summon going first. 2 copies of Sword. This literally doesn't do anything unless you're going second, and all it does really is dumps a Star Seraph from your hand to make it gain attack, which isn't that useful. And the only reason why we don't run 2 is, once again, as I said, you need to run Star Seraphs in order to keep the engine going. 3 copies of Scout. This, when it's normal summon, you can special summon another Star Seraph. So you can special summon something like Scale, which will special summon another Star Seraph, which can summon something like a Scepter, which gets a Search, and just like that, you already have 3 cards while only using 2 in your hand. While only using 2 in your hand, if you it's weird. We have 3 copies of Sovereignty. This, in my opinion, is my favorite Star Seraph, as unfortunately it does kind of rely on another card, but you do run tons of Star Seraphs for it. So you basically run 3, 6, 8, 10, 13 Star Seraphs for it. On top of that, it also counts itself, so you can say you run 14. And if it's summoned, you can special summon it, and then you can draw a card. And if it's not Star Seraph, you can summon it, which is great. And if you draw something like Winder, it just helps you combo so much more. Sovereignty is probably my favorite one, and it is super duper great. 1 copy of Singing Lanius. This is for the combo. Just a super nice extender. 1 copy of Thunderbird. Thunderbird is for the Infinite Gates. 1 copy of Sultry Force to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. The extenders are very valuable in this deck. 3 copies of Call by Grave for hand traps. 3 copies of Valhalla for the Star Seraphs. I would run more cards like say Goblinberg, but it does kind of interfere with the Star Seraph Scout. Not necessarily, but Valhalla is just a super duper great card, especially in this deck, as it can also help you do full combo without without having Zephyros in your deck, and in case you hard draw it. 1 copy of Time Thief Hack for 3 Time Thief Winder. 3 copies of Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine, and once again, this is another one of the best level 4 extenders. Just like Penningsessor, it's a free summon without any downside at all. You could also run Dinotarium if you want. Unfortunately, it does have a downside, as it can let your opponent special summon a monster from either graveyard. So if you're going second, Dinotarium isn't that great, and Shade Brigandine is just a lot better. 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity. Just the extra negate does come in handy a lot of times. 1 copy of Baguska. Baguska, sometimes if you're not able to do combo, you can just choose to go into Baguska if you know your opponent literally cannot play through Baguska, because there aren't a lot of decks that can. Our deck has a lot of Link monsters, so it can sometimes play around Baguska with cards like Boral Sword and Avermax, but Baguska is just a very, very oppressive floodgate. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Sometimes if you don't want to go for an IP Masquerena, if you know your opponent just has a very graveyard reliant deck, so you're counting decks like Orcust and Eldritch, Abyss Dweller basically shuts down those decks entirely, and sometimes it's the better play to go for instead of your IP Masquerena at the end of your combo. 2 copies of Force Strix. You do burn through both of those during the combo, so you do have to run 2. one copy of Avermax to protect your Thunderbird most of the time. It's also an excellent option going first. Not first, second. One copy of Boral Sword. Boral Sword is for the OTKs. One copy of Appaloosa. You do make Appaloosa sometimes if you know your opponent is not capable of getting a monster with more than 1100 attack. Then you can go into Appaloosa instead of your Avermax with your IP Masquerena, and sometimes you just opt to go for this over your Simorgh. If you're scared they might have a Nibiru, then you can go into an Appaloosa. Appaloosa is your 5th summon, and in very rare cases are you able to do your combo from there, as it does invest a lot of stuff from your hand. But if you did this full Star Seraph stuff as I did show you there, and you have cards like Petting Cessor and Shade Brigandine, you should be pretty well to do with your Appaloosa. One copy of Simorgh. Simorgh just summons the Apex Avian from the deck. The Nightmare package just for spot removal. One copy of White Strix to summon out Zephyros from your deck. One copy of Unicarrier to get Thunderbird on the field. And finally, one copy of IP Masquerena to go into Avermax. So that was the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.